afternoon. Hi, this is Spirit Journey, and today is November 2nd, 2016. And this is actually going to be my third video that I will be discussing about Danney Williams. Danney Williams is the alleged illegitimate son of former President Bill Clinton. And I present this video to you, and I'm glad that Danney Williams had gotten more emotional support to do his second press conference. It hits close to home to me because for me this is history, American history, the bad part of American history that I thought was buried, but it's not. The history of racism against Black people. And it's a legacy based on slavery. Even though chattel slavery has ended in the Americas, but the legacy, the stigma, still holds today. Just look at my own ancestral line, that things like what Danney is faced with is quite a common event historically. So I'm going to present my thoughts regarding the Danney Williams press conference and my thoughts pertaining to it. Thank you. Good afternoon. This is Spirit Journey. And as you see in front of the screen, you see a screen with this individual here. His name is Danney Williams. And yesterday, November 1st, 2016, Danney Williams had held a second press conference. And this one petitioning Monica Lewinsky for a DNA sample. For those people who don't know who Monica Lewinsky is, she was the intern that worked with President Bill Clinton in the 1990s, around 1998 or 97, around that time. And they had an affair, and in one of their intimacies, Bill Clinton's DNA had gotten on her blue dress. And this blue dress was used in a court hearing that Monica Lewinsky had to speak on. So this case with Danney Williams is a very personal one for me, as I mentioned. And I started asking myself questions. Why don't you see a lot of Black leaders speaking on his behalf? You know, I thought at first maybe there's not a lot of Black people behind his, that work with the Clintons. I started to make excuses. What's the problem? And then I started seeing over the internet that the Clintons are connected with Black people. And so I want to show you some of the things well-known people, influential Black people that I found. Okay. Now the first video I have here is a video with people call him a handler of Hillary. He's a very important figure in her life, especially with this campaign for presidency, Hillary Clinton. Let me show you. Okay, so this video here. You see Hillary Clinton looks like she's freezing. Something is going on, but let me show you. See?
Keep talking. You handle it. We're not going anywhere.
Okay, here we are. Okay, we'll keep talking, and apparently these people.
Okay. Now that's a protector. He's looking out for her interests, okay? So I don't know who his name is and what exactly is his position. I don't know whether he is a physician or an FBI person. Okay, but that is close proximity. And again, in the black community, I wanted to believe that we stick together. Remember, Black Lives Matter, right? But we're not speaking out. And so this is a contact. This is a primary contact in Hillary's life. Okay? But somehow nothing is being done there. But again, I'm not behind closed doors with these two. I do not know whether he's speaking to her regarding Danney Williams. Okay? Now this is a second video, and this one is another black person, goes by the name Donna Brazil. Okay, and I want to show you what I found about her. Now she is someone very close that works very closely with Hillary Clinton, and that she is the current the current head of the Democratic National Committee. And this committee was formed in 1848, so it's a very old and established organization that is currently being held by another black person. Let me play the video.
In light of the fact that there are documented cases of innocent people who have been executed
This is
in
not
our
the person,
country,
but this is...
I would like to know, how can you still take your stance on the death penalty in light of what you know right now?
This is such a profoundly difficult question, and what I have said and what I continue to believe is that the states have proven themselves incapable of carrying out fair trials.
Okay, let me go forward now, a little bit forward. Okay, I have to clarify. Okay, that individual, black individual, is not Donna Brazil, but this was a person at a town hall meeting, and this individual that you just saw speak, the gentleman, he posed this question. But Donna Brazil had gotten a hold of that question in advance and gave the question to Hillary Clinton. Okay, that I want to find that portion of the video. Okay, let me play it now.
Had access to questions and would never have shared them with the candidates if I did. I'm deeply disappointed that the Republican leaders of the party of Reagan are publicly using information illegally obtained by the Russians, because the national security of our country should not be a partisan issue. Now, it shows that. The truth is that many people...
Okay, now that was Donna Brazil. And again, she is in a very influential position for Miss Clinton. Okay, this woman here, she is Donna Brazil, and she's the chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee. And you would think her being a black woman would be sensitive enough and speak on behalf of the black community and Danney Williams. But this is not the case. And she, in my opinion, this Donna Brazil, is being an enabler of promoting wickedness against black people, against Danney Williams, because she's not speaking out against Hillary Clinton's behavior and preventing she and her husband, Bill Clinton, to take this DNA test. Okay? It's another person here. Okay? Now this person here I don't know who she is, but she's literally standing right behind Mrs. Clinton. And this was the video where she had a seizure. Let me see if it could play. Let me see. Okay. Now she's watching Miss Clinton very carefully and is watching on her behalf. Okay. So I keep asking myself, what's going on? So that's another person. That's 3 people so far, 3 black people that have close access to the Clintons, and you don't hear them speak out. Okay. Another video that I found. Her name is Loretta Lynch, and she has a very high position. She's the Attorney General. I think that's her position. Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Okay. And seems to be a problem. Let me play this video.
She recused herself from the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails, but has she still been pulling strings behind the scenes all along? Former Attorney General under President George W. Bush, Alberto Gonzales, joins us right now. We were just talking to the break, Mr. Attorney General. Always great to see you. And we're saying we don't know what's going on between Justice and the FBI. And what do you mean that she might not have really recused herself from this investigation?
Well, if in fact there was a formal recusal and there was a process involved in formally recusing yourself from an investigation, then she would not have been able to comment at all as to what Director Comey did last week. Once you recuse yourself, you're out completely.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean that there's no direction for main justice. At that point, the Deputy Attorney General steps in, and that's what's so peculiar about all of this is the absence of main justice from this whole investigation. To me, is rather puzzling.
Okay, now with this case, that Loretta Lynch was in a plane, and before it took off, Bill Clinton he claimed that he was going to play golf, but saw her plane, and he wanted to talk to her before the plane left flew. And that they had a very long conversation, at least a half an hour about, and Mr. Clinton claims that they just talked about their children and some other trivial matter. Okay, now this is the Attorney General, and Hillary Clinton had deleted these emails that could have been very sensitive and government documents, and that by Mr. Clinton talking to her, she has the power to persuade the FBI from certain types of investigations against Hillary Clinton. Okay, so that's a powerful friend to have. Okay, and again, we don't know whether she might have been threatened by the Clintons, and so she had to lay low. And then here, our current president, Barack Hussein Obama, and he is supporting Hillary Clinton for presidency. And I'm sure he knows about Danney Williams. Let me play a little bit of it.
Opinion. But nobody actually knows the job until you're sitting behind the desk. Everybody can tweet, but nobody actually knows what it takes to do the job until you sat behind the desk.
He's supporting Hillary in her run for presidency, okay? But you never heard a statement from President Barack Hussein Obama, okay? Michelle Obama is also endorsing Hillary Clinton. Now, I don't know how Michelle could even permit something like that to endorse her, knowing about Danney Williams. and has power and authority, but yet he's not standing up for the black community. He stands up for all these other groups, but not his own who helped put him in the office, okay? So the next thing I want to talk about was, what I have here, that Hillary Clinton has a book. She had a book that came out in 1996, that it takes a village. But when it comes to Danney Williams, this Danney Williams, this is Danney Williams, that the village was closed to him, that Hillary Clinton did not include him, but includes anyone that promotes her agenda. Also online is that she has a speech. She did a speech, and this was done in 1996. I want to show you part of that. Let's see here.
And countless other suggestions, I decided to do tonight what I've been doing for more than 25 years. I want to talk about what matters most in our lives and in our nation, children and families. I wish...
Could you believe that? Okay, let me go on.
I wish we could be sitting around a kitchen table, just us, talking about our hopes and fears about our children's futures. For Bill and me, family has been the center of our lives, but we also know that our family, like your family, is part of a larger community that can help or hurt our best efforts to raise our child. Right now, in our biggest cities and our smallest towns, there are boys and girls being tucked gently into bed. And there are boys and girls who have no one to call mom or dad.
Okay, I'm just stopping there for a moment. Now, at this time, Danney Williams was a young child, and that he was being tossed around to different foster homes. Now, his daddy is in the White House, and they know about him because they were living in Arkansas, and when Bill Clinton was governor of that state, that the aunt had brought Danney Williams, to meet them. And they had gone to the governor's house, and one of the prop rang the bell, and then they were shooed away after she announced that that is Bill Clinton's son. Okay? So this is 1996, around the time when the Danney boy was banished from Hillary. Okay? So let me show the next one. Okay, let me back up a little bit. Now let's see here. Now at this press conference that was held yesterday, I learned about this law, a law that Bill Clinton, when he was president, had passed. Okay, and let me show you the law that he passed. This law was passed just 2 years after that, this thing with Hillary Clinton. See, this is taped in 1996. She was promoting her book, It Takes a Village, okay? And when Bill Clinton came into office in, was that 93? He signed this bill. It is called the Deadbeat Parents Punishment Act of 1998, okay? This is it. So you can just, at your own leisure, look at it. Okay. And this is like a breakdown. This next page is a breakdown. And it says that Deadbeat Parents Punishment Act is a federal statute that makes it a felony for parents to go cross state lines with the intention of getting out of child support payments. It also provides strict guidelines for the punishment of those so-called deadbeat parents. The term deadbeat parents refers to the parents who have failed to pay the required child support payments, etc. Okay, and you can read this on your leisure. Now, what's interesting, okay, so Bill Clinton was president from 1993 to 2001. And so this bill was introduced in between that time. And during that time, Danney Williams' aunt and mom had tried to get in contact with Mr. Clinton to get child support. And it was at a brief period of time when he was governor of Arkansas that there was monetary payment. But in 1993, all that ended. Danney Williams, I think when he was 5 years of age, that his mother started to get some payments from Mr. Clinton. And then it stopped in 1993 because he became president. So isn't technically, the bill wasn't in effect yet, but isn't what Bill Clinton did was leaving so that he doesn't have to pay child support? And let's say after, because in 2001, his term ended as president. But the Clintons, they didn't go back to Arkansas. Okay? What happened? Why didn't they go back to Arkansas? Well, the Clintons, they seemed to work several steps ahead of the game. And for them to go back to Arkansas, they would have to deal with Danney Williams, Clinton's possible biological son. Okay, but they didn't go back there. They decided to move to the state of New York. So let me play this video.
Like 1889. And this old barn was original to the house, and it had never been used before.
Ow, my heel got stuck.
You're kidding. Back up.
Okay, thanks. This is the barn. This is
just a thought. Now, shouldn't the Clintons give this house to Danney and his 5 kids as an inheritance?
How do you pick your rocking
Just food for
chairs?
thought.
I see they're all different kinds of
I've
rocking
collected them over the years.
Really?
Look, it's like a huge piece of cane from the rainforest.
Wow. Next, on to the main house where Mr. Clinton shows off.
Okay, so I'm showing this to say that, the Clintons are very established. They have a home, and a beautiful home, as you see. And who do you see there interviewing the Clinton? This is Oprah Winfrey. I have not heard Oprah Winfrey speak on behalf of Danney Williams. Why hasn't Oprah come forward and ask for an interview with Danney Williams, or even go to the Clintons and say, hey, a member of our community is saying that you may be the father, Okay, you have to man up and take a DNA test. But this was not done. Okay, let me see here. So, why did the Clintons move to New York? Okay, well, the Clintons, as I said, like to, work several steps ahead. Well, Hillary wanted to run for New York senator, and she did win. She became senator in 2001. Okay, so again, New York, the state of New York has a heavy Democrat backing. Okay, I don't know about Arkansas, but the fact that they, Bill Clinton won the governor's seat there, and then his home state helped him also get into the White House. So they have a strong backing in Arkansas, but again, they refused to go to Arkansas for Hillary to run for senator there. Because at one time, Hillary Clinton was not popular in New York, so I was very surprised when she wanted to move here to New York, and very surprised when she wanted to run for senator. But again, she had her plan, and her plan was to get into the senator's seat and then run for presidency. So again, I feel that she used New Yorkers to get where she wanted to go. So what I also want to talk about here is that, this whole thing between, paternity with a white man and a black woman is not something new. Okay, now I saw something, I was watching a YouTube video, and a commercial popped up, and it was this video, this movie. It's entitled Loving, and Loving is the last name of a couple, a black and white couple. And at one time, it was against the law for interracial marriage. Okay, so let me play this video. And it's something, the timing behind this video. Okay, and again, I just saw the trailer of this movie yesterday. Let me play it.
I'm gonna build you a house. Right here. Our house. I want to take Mildred up to D.C. and get married. You sure about that?
By the power vested in me by the District of Columbia, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
In here? Richard! You went in bed with that woman.
I'm his wife.
That's no good here.
Richard Perry Loving being a white person and Mildred Jeter being a colored person did unlawfully cohabitate as man and wife.
Richard?
I believe this is a battle that could go all the way to the Supreme Court.
We ain't heard neighbor.
The state of Virginia will argue that it is unfair to bring children of mixed race into the world.
Tell that woman to come right here.
I'm gonna raise my family here. I don't care what they do to us.
Get back inside! I can take care of you.
I know that.
I can take care of you.
Now, isn't that powerful? Powerful. So here at one time, there were laws that were put in place to prevent any interracial marriages, and it's a true story. I feel it's to inform, but also it puts fear, and I feel the fear is targeted against the black female in particular. Look at this movie here. This movie came out in 2014, and it's entitled Belle. Let me show you this.
Do not be afraid. I am here to take you to a good life, a life that you were born to. I beg you, Uncle, love her as I would were I here, and ensure that she is in receipt of all that is due to her as a child of mine. Do you have in mind my position?
That is simply impossible.
What is right can never be impossible.
What has she been named?
Dido Belle Lindsay. She takes your name. I am not ashamed.
We will call her Dido.
Elizabeth was in much need of a companion.
And that is what we shall say when questions are asked.
We shall be receiving visitors for dinner. Why do you not dine with your family ever?
Because that is not correct.
May I present the second of my two nieces, Miss Dido Lindsay?
I find her repulsive.
Papa, how may I be too high in rank to dine with the servants and too low to dine with my family?
Though I understand she is kept under interesting rules, she raises questions.
Would you do me the honor of taking some air with me?
Don't you care what people will say?
What should anyone say?
I've no idea, should we, sir?
Black.
One does not make a wife of the rare and exotic.
Does she still have a tongue? I have a tongue.
Though yours explains well enough why I may not marry your son. My greatest misfortune would be to marry into a family who would carry me as their shame.
I've enabled every rule of convention so that you would know exactly where you belong.
I don't know that I find myself anywhere. Do you love her?
As though she were created of you and me.
What of your mother?
I know very little of her other than the colour she has given me.
Then at least you know she was beautiful.
You would risk your position for a man without name.
Laws that allow us to diminish the humanity of anybody are not laws.
He speaks a voice for people who do not have one.
If I had your choice, I would choose the man I loved.
There are rules in place which dictate how we live.
You break every rule when it matters enough, Papa. I am the evidence.
Okay, now this is based on a true story. Dido, she is the byproduct of an African woman and a white aristocracy man in Britain, and something happened to her biological mother, and so the father had to take care of her. She does eventually marry. She does. What makes her important in this story is that she helped promote the anti-slavery laws of the day. And it was her uncle that was someone high up in government, and eventually slavery in Britain was abolished. So that's what makes her very important. So in short, that the stigma that black women in the Americas have to face when she becomes pregnant from a white man, and that the baby is often abandoned by the white father. So this gesture of former President Bill Clinton to come forward and to willingly supply a DNA sample so that Danney Williams could find out definitively if Bill Clinton is the biological father or not. So I think it's very important that the black community, that our black leaders, such as our Black Caucus, our black ministers, our actors and singers and performers, black performers come also and support Danney Williams' efforts to get the DNA sample that is so needed so that he could, know his identity, and that he'll be able to tell his own children, he has 5 children, and so he can tell them who their grandparents are. Okay? So thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.